Discovery Shark Week is back, and it's crunch time. The pop culture phenomenon returns with an amazing lineup of 20 brand new shows. On night one, Discovery is doing an event called Dancing with Sharks. That's people. Dancing with sharks. It's something you must see to believe, but it doesn't stop there. From testing shark venom on a human to placing a camera inside a shark's mouth to a massive 500-pound chum drop from a helicopter. Discovery Shark Week is pushing the limits like never before, and is a week everyone will be talking about. Shark Week starts this Sunday, July 20th at 8 on Discovery.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
This is the Dan Levator Show with the Stugatz Podcast.
There is something that is sort of diabolically delightful about seeing Greg Cody with that particular mustache. And I've asked Video to see if there's any public domain footage we can get of man in early 1900s running away from railroad tracks in black and white movie because of how sinister the mustache looks, but also good. Everyone is telling Greg Cody that this look works for him, that he looks better and younger than he normally does.
He does look good. I did say to him, because I saw it before the show, Dan, and I said, you look like a guy who would tie me up and leave me on the railroad. I mean,
that is what he gives off.
Yes.
So if we can find any video like that and pair it against what it is that Greg Cody looks like, I'd like that. But to see come from under that mustache, the helpful tip as we head into this segment, he's like, hey, Dan, a lot of laughs coming up. Fun segment with Congressman Maxwell Frost coming up, huh? To have it come from that mustache, because we're going to be talking about Alligator, Alcatraz, and something that I probably think it goes without saying that you would know in 2025 feels an awful like something that doesn't feel terribly American to me.
Big shocker, but I'm a huge fan of Maxwell Frost.
You would.
Yes, that is not surprising anybody. So we're going to talk to him, though, because I do want people to understand the conditions down here. The Everglades are particularly cruel. It's the entire history of Florida makes it so none of us should be living on this land. You guys are feeling it right now just because the air conditioning has gone down for a couple of days. You guys are crawling around on your knees without mosquito issues in here. And I feel like everyone is broken, physically broken by the heat in here. I feel like makeup is running all over the place. Everyone's having troubles. Mm-hmm. Do I have this wrong? Greg Cody's complaining, but he's also wearing a long sleeve shirt because he's having a bad arm day.
Well, he thought the AC was working. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
You guys don't pay the electric bills? How does that work?
It's not an electric bill thing. It is that when the summer gets really hot down here, the equipment is in some danger.
It's a common thing in the Northeast. When it gets hot, they have blackouts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I can change the air filter if you need me to. Like, I'm versed.
Yeah, I know you're handyman, as we've established.
Right.
Chris, I was asking you at the beginning of the Samson segment, and we wandered off. There's some Francesa sound talking about Superman that I'm told is delightful. Now, Francesa does have a real podcast. It's not a fake podcast. I don't know the name of that podcast. Does anyone off the top of their head know the Mike Francesa podcast name?
I think it's Mic'd Up, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, good guess. A reasonable guess. I would have assumed that might have been taken, but I think Mike Ryan had mic'd up at some point.
I did have a Chelsea mic'd up.
I had a Miami mic'd up.
Get this. It's called the Mike Francesa Podcast.
Oh, wow.
Real or fake?
So let's listen to Mike Francesa here. He did not like Superman, evidently.
There's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But, hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
It's good coverage.
He's right.
He's not wrong.
You
nerds. Crypto was a big part of the comics.
I mean, we all like dogs, okay?
he didn't want to get too far out there with the take, so he made sure that everyone understood. Look, I'm on the side of dogs. I'm
we all like dogs.
I'm
okay?
a pro-dog person,
dogs,
okay? But you don't need to be making them super. That could be just for a man. The super could be for a man. We don't need the dogs to also be super.
And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive?
It's a good question.
They had a meeting and they're like, get the dog a cape.
Well, how are you going to convey that the dog is super dog if it doesn't have a cape? How are you going to? It needs to have a cape. Put it on the poll at Batard
Yeah,
Show.
but the dog got beat up.
I mean, once a dog starts flying around, I think it's pretty well established that this is a super
It
dog.
needs a cape. A bulldog without a cape flying around is ridiculous.
It's comic book accurate, and also credit to the filmmaker because it's hard to cover new ground with Superman, right?
You don't have a super dog if it's not wearing a cape. Put
I
it on.
watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Can your dog truly and indeed be super if it doesn't have a cape? Now, I have not heard before. You guys, this was something that actually took me aback. I found surprising to hear it. It's obviously not something we can entertain in any way, but I really appreciated that Pete Alonso had thought it all this far through. We have talked before about the undercurrent, and it's not even an undercurrent, the overt way in which hockey fighting is allowed because it's a bunch of white dudes generally that are fighting, and whenever it is that basketball players fight, next thing you know, all the rules have to be changed because those players mostly aren't white. To find ourselves, what are you smiling about, Chris Cody?
I'm listening to you.
Just the show.
Yeah.
Well, you look like you were looking off into the distance dreamily on something.
Tell you what, all fights should be legal in all sports if they have to fight on ice.
Right.
Okay. So
and with helmets.
Yeah, like if they have to
gloves,
try to
right.
find a leverage point in a fight on ice, I'm good.
Okay, understood that you're making this distinction. It's not about race; it's about the skates. Fine, no problem.
Oh no, it's about race too, no doubt.
But Pete Alonso, have you heard any of this?
No.
Pete Alonso,
The polar bear.
He is advocating for something that I had not heard anyone advocate for with this kind of specificity.
He's asked if you can change any MLB rule, what would you change? And this is what his answer was.
One rule I could change, so I don't think people should get ejected after charging them out or fighting. So I think it should be hockey style. So no teams, no nothing, because that's when people can seriously get hurt. So I think there's the rule. If you want to go out and charge them out, then you should be able to. But if the pitcher or hitter or whoever charges, and if they don't want to fight, they take a knee, and then they don't have to fight. But if someone charges them out, it's 1v1 hockey style, and then that's it.
I love that.
Wow.
That's inspired thinking, and the main reason that you hear about hockey being allowed to have fights when no one else has fights is these players are skating around. They're holding deadly weapons in their hand with these sticks. Mm-hmm. If you don't give them the fighting outlet, something really bad is going to happen. Well, a baseball is a projectile that can do some serious damage. You got guys with baseball bats in their hands, essentially clubs. I think you could apply the very same logic. And if it's in the state of Texas, you can clear it with police. As we learned yesterday, the Mariners can do this as well. You can have a formal duel.
The optics, though, of kneeling.
Who's going to take a knee?
Who's
right.
you
the
don't
coward? Right.
Yeah, it's also going to lead to a very ugly incident where there is a dude taking a knee and a guy's got a full head of steam and he's full of rage and he's still going to clock.
You're not allowed to take a knee on a field. We learned that a few years ago.
The thing that Pete Alonso is saying there is, I love the narcissism in all of this, but I also love the caveman in it. Because I imagine it's really frustrating to Pete Alonso that people are allowed to throw something at him at 100 miles an hour and he's got to go walk to first base or both dugouts are going to empty. Yeah. Right. So wherever it is that his most outrageously stubborn and dumb male pride resides. Oh, you give me the right to change any rule in baseball. Here's the rule. I want to be able to tear off my shirt and then tear off the head of the person in front of me. And if he doesn't want to fight, get on a knee in front of everybody, in front of America to say that you're afraid of me. And under those circumstances, I can be king of this sport. It's such a great idea for him to have to take out all of his years of resentment. Because I imagine, Stugatz, I don't know, as you guys laugh at, why should this guy be in the All-Star game because he throws 104 miles an hour? The idea of standing against somebody who might hit me in the wrist or elbow with a 104 mile an hour fastball, if I had to do that as a career for 20 years, I'd like to beat the holy hell out of every pitcher with a bat. Like if that was my life, if I went to bed before games at night knowing someone's coming inside at 99?
I said who's going to kneel, but if Peter Alonso is running at you, probably a good idea to kneel.
I don't know. I think that if he's going to say you have to be that publicly coward, then just run into the outfield. Because
maybe lay down.
So now you're running away.
No, so we avert the situation Mike's talking about, which is someone in submission getting ravaged anyway. Then the teams can get involved, authorities, everyone
You just lay down on the grass like you're taking a midday
fetal
nap.
position.
You
Yes.
gotta get a knee to the face, Shining Wizard style. Hey everybody, it's Mike. Down here in South Florida, as the audience well knows, we've been celebrating a proper championship, and we've been enjoying every minute of it. And by my side throughout that entire championship celebration has been Miller Lite. Yeah, I wanted to make my championship time a Miller time because much like most of the fun memories I've had as an adult, Miller Lite has been right there by my side, supplementing every experience. And now that I'm about to travel during the summer, you can rest assured I'm going to be having plenty of Miller Lite along the way, because that's what summer's all about. And since 1975, Miller Lite has been right there in all those memories for you listening right now. It's the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite. That's 50 years of great taste, great friends, great moments. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Big news out of the Big Easy. UFC 318 is about to go down in New Orleans, and this card is absolutely stacked. We got Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 3 as the headliner, and it's Dustin Poirier's last walk to the octagon, the final chapter with his legacy on the line. And you know DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, is locked in with all the action, parlays, props, knockout odds, you name it. And if you're new listeners, bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly, just like that. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DAN, that's code DAN, for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream house or ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Dan Le Batard.
It's all about me.
Stugats.
Whee!
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
All right, so Greg Cody here prefaced this segment with a lot of laughs. Yes, there are not a lot of laughs here, but we've talked to Maxwell Frost before, and to the degree that we could take some of the politics out of this, I don't know that we can. The Congressman is joining us, Florida's 10th District, and he's had a chance to take a look at least at the parts of Alligator Alcatraz, and so I don't know what is factual, what is inhumane. I know how all of this looks. I know how it's all purposely meant to look. What can you give us in the way of facts about what is happening in Swampland when it looks optically from over here that this is just cruel stuff and human beings being used as propaganda pieces?
That's exactly right, man. I mean, it's just cruel, and, you know, cruelty isn't just the point, it's the strategy in this. But I'm going to just give you some straight up facts about my visit, and people can make their own determination, right? I walk in, and I'm greeted by nothing but private security, right? Now, this is a facility that they're saying is going to cost about $450 million. It's probably going to be a lot more. It's being run by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. These are the people that, you know, help us with when we have hurricanes, help us prepare, help us respond. They're using pretty much all the money, which is they can use up to $500 million without going to the legislature if there's a state of emergency. That whole thing is meant to be there if there's a hurricane so they can work quickly. That's all being used up now for this political stunt. And that's something everyone should recognize if you're a Floridian especially. But So I walk in, we go in, we're checking out the conditions. And, I'll tell you the worst part for me was when they opened that door to the tent that had all the cages in it. And people should know that these men are being held in cages. The cages hold 32 people per cage. And then there's 3 toilets in each cage, and it's one of those, jail units where the spigot is connected to the toilet. Essentially, it's like a hybrid with washing your hands and drinking water from it. And it's hot in there. I mean, these guys were sweating when they opened that door. These guys were yelling at me, "Hey, call my family. Here's my phone number." Some guy yelled, "I'm an American citizen." We're looking into that, right? I mean, when you do this stuff in the brazen way they're doing it, sometimes citizens get swept up into the whole mess. So we're looking into that as well. But the conditions are not good. They're abhorrent for a place that humans are being held in. And the thing people also have to realize is when you're an immigrant being held in detention, it doesn't mean you've been convicted of a crime, right? They're holding you in detention as you go through a legal process. And so it's not supposed to be a jail or a prison. It's supposed to just be a detention center. So these are very bad conditions. It's very hot out there. These are a bunch of tents in the middle of the Everglades. And the last thing I'll say on this too is they were going to build a full airport on this location years ago. Then they abandoned the idea. Why? Because the conditions are so poor out there in terms of weather that they couldn't build an airport there. And now they want to house up to 4,000 people there. So I think it's completely ridiculous.
What is your response to the DHS written statement on X Tuesday? Quote, ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with lawyers and their family members. The
last part is not true. And I know this because I have many constituents in there, and I speak with the lawyers. My team checks in with the lawyers on a daily basis. In fact, we've been given 3 to 4 emails for the lawyers to hit up so they can schedule in-person visits with their client. And so that's just not true. You can talk to any lawyer in Florida doing this work, and they're very frustrated that they haven't been able to really connect with the person that they're representing. The other thing I'll tell you is, look, I mean, before Congress, I was a community activist. I've been arrested. I went to jail. And I'll tell you, the jail I went to, 2 people, 1 cell, 1 bathroom in the cell, okay? These are 32 men with only 3 toilets in a cage in the hot Florida sun, right? And what I'll tell you is this. They keep saying, well, no, it's a good operation. I'm not debating the operation. It's run by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. We have one of the best emergency management divisions in the nation. The operation is great, but at the end of the day, a cage is a cage, right? The conditions are the condition. And so I'm not here to debate whether it's not being run well. I don't want an internment camp, even if it's run well, right? And so that's my opinion on it. And I think everyone, no matter what your politics are, you should be frustrated that they're using the department that helps us during hurricane season. And we're supposed to, and I'm knocking on wood, but we're supposed to have a tough hurricane season like we've had the last 5. And so, in these times when you have these storms, every minute matters. And the fact that they're going to have to go back to the legislature and ask for more money if there's a hurricane just shows the priorities are out of whack. And it's a stunt, but it's a stunt with real human consequence. I mean, I got to tell you, from a human perspective, looking at those cages, I mean, I saw myself in there, right? Like, I saw people who looked exactly like me. I'm Afro-Cuban. I'm the first Afro-Cuban in Congress. Like, I was looking at myself in those cages. And as I walked out of the facility, I told myself, I'm going to be one of the only people that looks like me that can walk in this place and walk out on my own accord. And I just gotta tell you, as a human, like my heart sunk. And not everyone in here isn't a violent criminal. We saw what the Miami Herald posted, all the data. You got 250 people in there who've never done a crime, who've never been charged with a crime. And then you got a bunch of people in there. The crime is like, they got pulled over for a speeding ticket or something. Come on.
How long was your tour? Were you denied access to any requested areas?
The tour was about 2 hours. Yes, I was denied access to a couple areas. And so people know it is in the law. It's in federal law, right? That members of Congress have to be let into detention facilities, and we have to be able to conduct our oversight. And as part of our job is to go in and make sure things are being run correctly, that conditions are good, all of this. So we had a 2-hour tour, but there were 2 things I couldn't see that are really important when you do these tours. One was the medical unit. That's one of the most important things. We need to be able to go in there, speak directly with doctors, understand. I had a lot of questions about mental health. If someone has a mental health crisis, what happens? Do they have a segregation unit, or are they put with everybody else? Nobody could answer these questions for me, and they wouldn't even let me in the medical unit. They said HIPAA. They said we can't let you in because of HIPAA. That's bullshit. I've been in many facilities before where they've let me in the medical unit. Now, I can't sit down in an appointment and listen in, but I can walk through the unit and ensure that things are up to par. So they didn't let me into the medical unit. They also didn't let me, I could see the cages from the door, but they didn't let me walk in. And the reason I wanted to walk in is because one of the top complaints we're getting are the toilets. We have a bunch of guys who have called their lawyers and called their family late at night on the phone and said, hey, I just want to let you know that 2 of the 3 toilets aren't working right now, and one of them is backing up. And there's stuff is being sprayed or, coming out of the toilet, essentially. And reportedly, it was hours till it was cleaned up. So I wanted to see the toilets as they were, but they said, oh, we can't let you in there. They'll throw poop at you, is what they said. Just all these excuses for not letting us go in and check things out. One point I want to bring up that I didn't see a lot of law enforcement in this facility. What I mean to say is I saw almost nothing but private security, which means part of the reason the price tag is so high is we're essentially paying for a ton of rent-a-cops to run the facility. This is supposed to be a federal detention facility. And so people should be concerned about that. People are making big money from this thing as well. When I came in on the airstrip, 2 private jets for the companies, for the contractors that are there. They had 2 private jets on there, probably hire, the CEO or a higher executive being there. So it's just like everything else, another instance of like our tax money being siphoned off to big corporations to make this stunt possible.
The president toured the facility, and I guess with everything going on in the nation, there are a lot of misconceptions that this is a federal facility. However, just hours after, the administration kind of distanced itself from Alligator Alcatraz after the photo ops and put it all on the state. So here, on the state level, what can Floridians do about this to voice their anger? We've seen plenty of protests. Is there any additional pressure that we could apply to local and state leaders?
Yeah, the whole hot potato with the state federal thing is insane. And the reason they're doing it, number one, there's a lawsuit happening right now. A bunch of the environmentalist groups are suing the state. And you know what the state said? They said the federal government has no involvement in this. Why? Because it hurts the lawsuit, and that lawsuit could shut this thing down. I went in there, and you know what Kevin Guthrie told me, who's running the whole damn thing? He said ICE is calling all the shots. So he's telling me directly that the federal government's calling the shots. I'm gonna hit the floor this week to put this on the record. I'm also gonna release an op-ed talking about this as well and do as much as I can to get out these specific quotes, and hopefully it'll help not just the lawsuit, but everything going on. But I would say, of course, the protests are always important, but honestly, people, especially if you're in Florida, get involved in one of these local immigrant justice groups. If you have some cash that you can donate to a pro bono legal organization that's doing immigrant law, they need resources. There's not enough resources to go around. And a lot of these immigrants, look, whatever your belief is in politics, you have to believe in due process for everybody. And we live in a country where the amount of money you have is directly correlated to whether or not you're going to get off or not, because you're able to afford an expensive attorney. These people can't afford attorneys, even expensive ones, right? And so if you can donate some money to some of the legal funds, and these are just lawyers working a pro bono way to represent a lot of these immigrants who, again, most of whom have not committed a crime, and most of whom who have been in this country for over a decade. Like, these are our neighbors, right? These are people living in our communities. We don't want to see them treated this way and snatched up by mass people. I mean, it's wild to me that this is even a debate. We live in the United States of America. Like, we don't want the state running around scooping people up in unmarked vans. I mean, I don't care what your political persuasion is. You got to be against that. Because even if you don't care about these folks, which you should, but even if you don't, I promise you, it's them today, it's you tomorrow. I mean, and I'm not being hyperbolic. We've seen U.S. citizens caught up in this whole mess.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages.
Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password, to WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
You underscored the need for access for immigration attorneys. I know Laura Kelly from the Miami-Dade Democratic Party is an immigration attorney herself, volunteering a lot of time fighting this fight with the TPS expiration or executive order. Presently, what is access to immigration attorneys for people that are detained? Can they make phone calls? What is that process like for someone that's detained? For someone who is screaming at you, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. So the way it's supposed to work is these immigrant detention facilities are supposed to have what's called a law library. It sounds fancy. What it really is it's a phone in a place that's not being surveilled in terms of audio, so you can speak with your lawyer privately through the phone, right? And this facility, in the Everglades, did have a law library, but what we've heard is the detainees are not being allowed to use it. And so a lot of the lawyers are telling me, well, I'll randomly get a call from the person I'm representing, but it's at like 3 a.m. when they turn on the general phones for your phone call to call your family. And the way this works is those phones are supposed to be used to talk with your family. The law library phones are supposed to be used to talk with your lawyer, right? And so, but what we're finding is they're having to use those other phones to talk with their lawyers. The lawyers are having trouble getting in contact with the facility to set up in-person visits. But there is a process here because, again, deportation is a legal process. When someone is being detained, they're really supposed to only be detained if they're considered a risk to society, they've committed a violent crime. But they're detaining people who have done no crimes, who their crime is like a traffic stop, or maybe they had the wrong license plate and stuff like that. And that's part of why the cost tag is going up so much. But this whole thing is supposed to be a legal process. And that's why, and again, I'm not trying to be super hyperbolic. I'm just calling it like I see it. What we're seeing now isn't even deportation, because deportation can take a week to a year to battle out, right? It's a process. This is really, they're kidnapping people and then they're trafficking them to other nations. They don't even have to be from that nation. And so I'm just really concerned. I mean, I'm a Floridian. My mom came here as a refugee from Cuba. She'd be one of the people being scooped up had she come more recently, or if she wasn't a U.S. citizen. So it's very concerning.
He's representing the people of his hometown in Orlando and Central Florida, and he's joining us 2 days after filing a lawsuit against DeSantis for being unlawfully denied entry to inspect conditions of the migrant detention facility that is now being known as Alligator Alcatraz. Last notes, and you said your mother is Cuban-American. The most appalling of the things that you're feeling are not what this country has ever supposedly been about. Are blank.
Say it again for me.
The most appalling, un-American sort of, how are we even talking about this? How are we even discussing an argument about internment camps and treating human beings this way randomly? Like, how is this a conversation in 2025?
Could be that part.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's that part. I don't like, and I think about this is so politicized. It's so partisan. In the national sense, but I'm telling you, like on the ground, I go and speak with people, and I speak with people who they say they're conservative, they're progressive all around. People are starting to wake up to the fact that this isn't right. And that's why Trump's numbers on immigration have tanked. right? I mean, this was a big issue for him in the election. And so people don't like this cruelty at this level. And I mean, my mom, she talks about like, this is the stuff I saw in Cuba. Sorry, that's my voting alarm going off. We can't turn it off or down.
People love to vote.
Yeah, people love to vote. But this is the stuff that she fled, right? And now it's here. And I hear this from so many people. My friend Manuel Oliver, his family lived in Venezuela. They left Venezuela to keep their son safe. They came to Florida. They went online and looked up the safest community they could live in to keep their son safe. And it said Parkland, Florida. They moved to Parkland, Florida, and he was murdered at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. His name is Joaquin Oliver. I hear these stories so much of people who have come to this country for the opportunity and greatness we have, and we are a great country, but there are things we have to fix. And if you love something, when there's a problem, you call it out and you do everything you can to fix it. You know, being patriotic is more than just like bald eagle flag and beer, right? It's about loving the people who live in this place, and they're treating our people in just inhumane ways at these internment camps. I can't even believe it's a debate, but I do think I think the pendulum is swinging. I think people are waking up to it.
From the very name Alligator Alcatraz to the terrible optics of crowded chain link fence jail cells, this is aggressively inhumane. Do you believe why is it intentionally inhumane? Why are they doing it in this way?
Yeah, the reason why is it's not just the point, right? It's the strategy. And this isn't even just for this facility, but it's for a lot of these ICE detention facilities. I visited one called Baker, and the conditions were horrible. At the time, I wrote to President Biden and I told him, you need to close this place down. The conditions are horrible. But what they do is the conditions are so bad that these immigrants who are fighting a legal process that can take like a year, they get to the point where they go, I can't be here another month. I'm going to sign the deportation paper. I'm done fighting it. Send me wherever. And it's to demoralize them. I spoke with 2 Haitian men a year and a half ago in Baker, and they told me, Congressman, I've been fighting this for 8 months, 9 months. Tomorrow I'm signing the paper because I rather fight for my life and live on the streets of Haiti than be in this facility another month. And that's a big part of it. It's just such horrible conditions. I mean, you're literally in prison, and depending where you're at, if not worse. And at the same time, you're in this grueling legal battle. And the whole purpose is for you to go, screw it, send me wherever. And it's just, it's horrible and it's sad. And also one thing, the lawsuit is the state legislators that went a couple weeks ago, they were denied entry. And my good friend Rep. Anna Escamani and Carlos Guillermo Smith, Chevron Jones, there's Michelle Rayner. Those are the ones involved in that. I'm not on that lawsuit because I wasn't there. But my visit was this past week, and we were able to get in. But I am gonna do an unannounced visit soon because what I saw was bad, man. But they had 3 days notice, right? And when they have notice, they will make things cleaner. I mean, I heard from a family that spoke with someone that's there that magically the day before we got there, he got his first shower. Oh, and the day before we got there, he got one of the first good meals. And so I'm going to be coming back unannounced. And that's really the only way to do these visits because you see things for how they are. And it's in the law. I can show up at a time and place of my choosing, and I will do that.
Join us after that, please. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And the cruel is not the accident. The cruel is the point. Thank you, Congressman. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You guys ever notice how there's just a fee for everything now? You buy a concert ticket, there's a fee. You rent a place for the weekend, cleaning fee. Just breathing near an event, how about a processing fee? It's wild. That's why I'm glad I found Chime. You can go to chime.com/Dan and skip all that nonsense. Chime has got fee-free banking. No monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance fees, just clean, simple banking that actually helps you keep your money. And when you're trying to save or build something for yourself, fees can really set you back. Chime makes it easier to get ahead, not harder. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/Dan. That's chime.com/Dan. Chime feels like progress.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs. Bank ranking and number of ATMs according to U.S. News and World Report 2023. Chime checking account required.